Lavish palaces, golden carpets, dancers flipping their hair in perfect sync. When Donald Trump arrived in the United Arab Emirates, the world saw grandeur. But what did Muslims see? A painful contrast between the honor of Islam and a display that left many speechless. Was this a celebration of heritage or the erosion of Islamic values? Because what happened next was anything but Islamic. On the 15th of May 2025, Donald Trump touched down in Abu Dhabi for the final stop of his Middle East tour. He was greeted by Emirati officials and an unusual welcome, a performance of girls flipping their hair in sync. The event took place at Qasr al-Watan, the presidential palace, a symbol of UAE's power and prestige. But this wasn't just any cultural showcase. The girls' performance was part of what is known as Al-Ayyala dance, a traditional folk display with roots in Bedouin battle rituals. Yet, instead of men with bamboo sticks reenacting scenes of valor, this version featured young girls showcasing synchronized hair movements, right in front of a non-mahram man, broadcast globally. Across platforms, Muslims around the world watched the clip, confused, shocked, some even angered. What was meant to represent pride for many felt like humiliation. The dance, known as Al-Ayyala, has been practiced for over 400 years. It originated as a Bedouin battle reenactment. Two rows of men facing each other, chanting poetry, holding bamboo sticks symbolizing swords, marching to the beat of the drums. In today's UAE, it's often performed at weddings and national events. But what made this performance controversial wasn't the tradition itself, it was how it was presented, and more importantly, to whom. In this case, it was young girls, publicly flipping their hair in unison before a non-mahram man, the president of a non-Muslim nation, surrounded by cameras and dignitaries from around the world. Now, let's be clear. Culture is not the same as religion. Not every tradition, no matter how old or celebrated, aligns with the teachings of Islam. Yes, Al-Ayyala is recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. But heritage cannot override divine command. Islam draws a clear line when it comes to modesty and public display. Indeed, those who love to see immortality spread among the believers will have a painful punishment in this world and the hereafter. Allah knows and you do not know. Surah An-Nur 24:19. So while defenders of the dance call it a symbol of national pride, Muslims ask, what pride is there in showcasing our daughters in this way? What message are we sending to the world about what it means to be a Muslim? Islam is a religion built on the foundation of haya, or modesty, not just in clothing, but in actions, behavior, and how we present ourselves before others, especially when it comes to women, and even more so, young girls. Islam places immense value on preserving dignity and innocence. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Every religion has a distinct characteristic, and the distinct characteristic of Islam is modesty." Sunan Ibn Majah. What we witnessed during Trump's visit was not modesty, it was not honor, it was not Islamic. Islam does not permit public displays where women, especially minors, are showcased before a crowd of non-mahram men, accompanied by music and dancing. This is not our way. The Prophet, peace be upon him, also said, "Each of you is a shepherd, and each of you is responsible for his flock." It's not about criticizing the UAE, it's about drawing a line between cultural tradition and Islamic principle. Because no matter how long a tradition has existed, if it clashes with the clear guidance of Allah and His Messenger, then as Muslims, we choose the guidance, always. In 2022, during the FIFA World Cup hosted by Qatar, the world saw a Muslim nation proudly showcase its Islamic identity. Verses from the Quran adorned the stadium walls. Scholars were invited to speak about Islam. The call to prayer echoed over loudspeakers, reaching the hearts of millions. Now contrast that with what happened in Abu Dhabi during Trump's visit. The Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, the largest mosque in the country, was closed to worshippers. Why? So Donald Trump could walk through it alone, in silence, with no prayer, no call to salah, and no Muslims in sight. What message does that send? Wouldn't it have been more meaningful, more impactful for him to see Muslims in prayer? To hear the melodic call of adhan echoing through the domes? To witness the living beauty of Islam, not just its architecture? Instead, a house built for worship became a silent monument, admired for its marble and chandeliers, not the faith it was built to honor. And at the palace, what represented the UAE's identity? Music, dancing, hair-flipping girls, cameras flashing, not hijab, not the Quran, not humility, but a spectacle designed to impress the world, but failing to represent the deen of Islam. O you who believe, enter into Islam completely. Surah Al-Baqarah 2208. Let's not forget why Donald Trump was really in the Gulf. His visit was not a spiritual tour, it was a strategic mission. A mission to secure economic deals worth trillions of dollars. Yes, trillions. From Gulf wealth funds into American markets. These deals were celebrated in boardrooms and broadcasted in media headlines. But in the background, the Ummah bleeds. While Donald Trump was being honored with parades and pageantry, Muslim brothers and sisters in Gaza, Syria, and Yemen continue to suffer in silence. Their cries barely echo beyond their borders, let alone into the halls of power. And while this pageantry unfolded, one cannot help but recall the words of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings upon him. He is not a believer whose stomach is full while his neighbor is hungry. Sahih Muslim. As the video of Trump's reception circulated online, reactions poured in from every corner of the globe. Some viewers were simply confused, others were outraged. Many called the dance strange, shameless, or even a return to paganism. And unfortunately, some Islamophobes seized the moment to mock Muslim culture, not knowing, of course, that the performance had little to do with Islam. But the backlash didn't just come from outsiders. Muslims too questioned the event, not out of hate, but out of heartbreak. To them, to us, this wasn't just an artistic display, it was a betrayal of what it means to represent a Muslim nation. On the other side, defenders of the event rushed to justify it. They reminded everyone that Alayala is a UNESCO-recognized tradition, that it has Bedouin roots, that it symbolizes strength and pride. While culture can be beautiful, it must never come at the cost of modesty, dignity, or obedience to Allah. It's sad irony. A tradition meant to show strength ended up exposing a weakness, the willingness to compromise Islamic principles for the sake of public image. This was more than a cultural show. It was a crisis of representation. What did the UAE show the world? That being modern and welcoming means sidelining Islamic values? That we honor our guests not with Quran and prayer, but with synchronized dances and silenced mosques? Is this what our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, taught us? Perhaps the most tragic part is that we weren't just being watched by the world, we were being watched by Allah. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Surah Al-Hujurat 49:13. Not the most lavish, not the most culturally refined, not the most westernized, but the most righteous. Let this not just be a critique, let it be a wake-up call. We're not here to shame nations, we're not here to stir hatred, we are here to reflect, to remind ourselves and our leaders of who we are and who we represent. Yes, cultural heritage matters, but Islamic principles must lead the way. As an ummah, we must return to the teachings of our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, who built a society on dignity, modesty, and truth. We must hold our leaders accountable, not with anger, but with sincere advice and heartfelt dua. And above all, we must raise our voices, respectfully, wisely, but firmly. When Islam is being sidelined in the name of culture or politics, you are the best nation produced for mankind. You enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. Surah Al Imran 3:110. May Allah guide our leaders, protect our youth, and keep this ummah united on the truth. May we never trade our faith for applause, and may our identity as Muslims always be defined, not by performance, but by principle. Ameen.